Hello, this is my informative speech on teenage curfews. The intention teenagers are given a curfew of a certain time limit in different states is to limit gang violence, sex trafficking, and teenage harm, and to use curfew as a key to do so. For parents, curfews are a way to keep track of their children. For teens, curfews can be a pain. Just knowing they must come home at a certain time can put a damper on the night. I believe curfews are a great way to keep teens out of trouble. It also can keep the teenager more safe, while keeping him or her out of crime and off the roads during the hours that most intoxicated drivers are driving. Adolescents also need structure throughout their lives, including a full 8 to 9 hours of sleep. Some towns even have laws for curfews for people under the age of 18, which will also help the police officers. Having a curfew can help lower the risk of sex trafficking. Therefore, curfews are beneficial for teenagers. Adolescents that have curfews are off the roads during the late hours. Furthermore, they are off the roads when intoxicated and impaired drivers are out driving. In the Gazette, Renee Brumer states that out of a survey of 1,500 drivers conducted by the Canadian Centre on Substance Abuse in June, found that while 8.1% of nighttime drivers tested positive for alcohol, 10.4% showed evidence of drug use. In total, 16.9% of drivers tested positive for drugs, alcohol, or both. Drivers that are impaired and intoxicated are more likely to drive at night. Therefore, teens should have a curfew to keep them off the roads during these unsafe hours. A lot of gang-related crime events happen during the night hours as well. Therefore, teenagers will benefit from having a set curfew. Teen Help states that gangs account for the majority of the serious violence in the United States, and these gangs are not shy about recruiting teens. The number of youth gangs throughout the U.S. tops at 24,500, and the number of teens and young adults involved in gang activity is higher than 772,000. It also states that a quarter of gang members are aged 15 to 17. In these quotes, it states that it is very easy for teenagers to get involved in the wrong crowd and join a gang. However, teenagers can join gangs while attending school during the daytime. Bob Herbert in the New York Times says, "The threat of gang violence, both in schools and on the streets, appears to be more serious than most New Yorkers had realized." Teenagers need to have a curfew for the nighttime to stay out of gangs. Another reason why adolescents need to have a curfew is so they have structure in their lives. Structure builds character and teaches teens responsibility and helps them mature as a whole. In reasons for teenage curfew, they state that growing up is a process. Following social rules is an important part of that process. The teen years are a time when a person is becoming a young adult who needs to and should have the freedom to learn about life. Creating a safe environment to do this learning is a tough job. Teens need to be aware of the natural consequences for not following rules, as well as the consequences imposed by their parents. Losing a phone and computer privileges are much less damaging than spending time in jail. It takes time to learn a concept and put it into practice, but having a stable environment to learn in will allow a teenager to become a responsible young adult. A parent should help their teen understand why the curfew is in place and be clear about the penalty for what the penalty will be for breaking the curfew. Teens should be allowed to negotiate their curfews for different activities and understand that they are earning their independence by being trustworthy and mature. By rewarding responsible behavior, a parent will encounter less resistance to enforcing rules. No teen is going to do cartwheels when a curfew is imposed, but understanding the rules will make them easier to follow. Curfews create structure for teenagers, which helps them grow in the right direction. Curfews can help keep teenagers safe in many ways. Human trafficking is becoming very popular and happens mostly into the late hours of the night. DoSomething.org states that between 14,500 and 17,500 people are trafficked into the United States each year. There is also approximately 20 to 30 million slaves in the world today. According to the U.S. State Department, 600 to 800,000 people are trafficked across international borders every year, of which 80% are female and half are children. With these high numbers, anything can help to lower them, and that could be an enforcement of curfews. However, human trafficking can happen at any hour of the day. Teenagers can get taken at any time and sold into the sex trade. The young adults don't even have to be kidnapped to be sold into the trade. Agreeing with the statements above, human trafficking facts indicated women and girls are ensnared in sex trafficking in a variety of ways. Some are lured in with offers of legitimate and legal work As shop assistants or waitresses, others are promised marriage, educational opportunities, and a better life. Still, others are sold into trafficking by boyfriends, friends, neighbors, or even parents. With this statement, this horrible event can happen at any time. However, a big consistence of it takes place during the nighttime. Teenagers are still growing and developing rapidly, and because of this, they need 8 to 9 hours of sleep. Curfews can help teens get those hours of sleep. The National Sleep Foundation states that teens need about 8 to 9 hours of sleep each night to function best. Most teens do not get enough sleep. One study found that only 15% reported sleeping 8.5 hours on school nights. Teens tend to have irregular sleep patterns across the week. They typically stay up late and sleep in on the weekends, which can affect their biological clocks and hurt the quality of their sleep. To be able to develop correctly, full sleep is required. Teens should have curfews, therefore they can get enough sleep throughout the night. Teens should have a mandated curfew because it will ensure them getting well rested, stay out of trouble, and alive. Thank you.